Hello, I'm Callum Dilietto, and this is season 3 of the Flock Together podcast in partnership with Visit Norway. We're here today at the Shangri-La at the Shard, London, and I'm joined by Arran. Arran, how are you?
Good morning, Callum. I'm very well, thank you.
I finally managed to pin you down and have a proper conversation with you. We see each other at events all the time, and it's always like, oh, we must catch up. Well, bam, we're catching up now.
Yeah, and there's no escaping.
Yeah. You've also progressed crazily since I've known you, and you're now the big boss. You're now the MD. How is that for you? How's that been?
Yeah, it's been a crazy 12 months, to be honest, since I took the role. I think, sometimes you've got to be careful what you wish for. The role itself, it's big, it's a challenge, but I'm really enjoying it. I think, changing the direction of the agency and pushing forward is very exciting.
The first part of the podcast is remember. Can you remember your first ever work trip?
Yeah, I had to think back actually, and I was very fortunate. I think that I had 2 events in 1 week when I first started in the industry. I think the first one being a kick-off meeting at the Sofitel T5 in the basement. So we won't talk too much about that. That was a pharmaceutical...
Exciting stuff.
Pharmaceutical event that's just sort of stuck with me ever since. But then I was also fortunate at the end of the week to fly off to Thailand for an incentive trip. So
wow.
I remember that one a bit more vividly.
And whereabouts in Thailand did you go?
So we went into Phuket, down on the coast, on the beaches. It was amazing.
I think my first ever trip was Thailand as well. When I came into the industry, and I remember getting this invite, and I was like, "What is this job? Why am I being invited to Thailand?" I was like, "Love it. Okay, this industry is for me."
Yeah, it's such a cool place. I think I was very similar. Once you go to somewhere like Thailand, you experience the luxury hotels, the experience. Taking groups to buy handbags in the markets. It's very unique, and that's where I clocked on and just said, look, within this industry, there's so many perks, and to me, travel being one of them.
That's it. I think talent would be attracted to this industry way more if it wasn't such a hidden gem. I think people stumble into it and then go, wow, this is an incredible industry. But if people outside of MICE knew, they'd be like, I want to get into that. I want a job in that industry.
Yeah, 100%. I think once you get into it, we all know, it's not just luxury destinations. There's a lot of hard work involved, but
yeah,
helps when you're on a beach in Thailand.
Exactly. And what was your last work trip?
So I kicked off this year with a trip to Las Vegas. So first week of January for a big consumer electronics show, which is very exciting, but also a challenge every year. Some of the team have to work over Christmas and the challenges that come with that. But it's always a unique experience going to Vegas.
Vegas, I think I've heard stats that if a conference moves to Vegas, the uptake and the delegate attraction just skyrockets. And I get it. I completely get it. If you have a choice of anywhere else in the world and then you can go to a conference in Vegas, it's going to happen. So I can understand why CES does it there every year, to be fair.
Yeah, I can believe it. I think 140,000 this year or something at CES. It's huge, and they're built for it. Vegas is just getting bigger. I think it's due a bit of a refresh, to be honest, but it's coming with the likes of the Hard Rock and things like that.
Yeah. And the Sphere, I still haven't been since they opened the Sphere, and I just think that kind of whole immersive arena and just the things that they're doing on the outside and the things that they're doing on the inside, I'm just like, that's super cool, super impressive.
Yeah, I personally haven't been in there, but some of the team stayed on and did sort of a gig at the weekend in the Sphere, and it looks amazing.
Yeah. The next part of the podcast is revisit. So if you could transport yourself back in time, so not to go to the same place again, but almost to relive a destination experience you've had before, which would it be?
Oh, that's a tricky one. I think I've been very fortunately to amazing places. A couple that came to mind, I think it's been mentioned on your podcast before, but Banff, Lake Louise, for a unique experience in the snow was amazing. And then my first trip to Budapest, I think, for a bit of a hidden gem. You don't really know about it. You go into the cultural ruins in the different parts of the city. They're both amazing places.
I just recently ticked off Budapest, maybe a couple of months ago, for the first time, and it was just me and my friend, and it was a long weekend, but it was great. I loved it. I was so I didn't really know what to expect, and I thought, oh, maybe there's going to be loads of stag do's and stuff, but it was so much more cultural. The cuisine was incredible. I think I had the best sushi I've ever had in my life there.
Yeah, it really is a hidden gem. I think I went there first time 7 years ago. And then I took my now wife back and we did a long weekend, you know, the experience of between the ruined bars and the culture and the boat tours. It's an amazing place. I think you get such a mixture of culture.
And again, you've probably been spoiled and stayed in so many fantastic hotels, but if you could make one of those hotels your home to live in, which would it be?
Again, I'm very, very spoiled, been very lucky. I think for me, one that's on my doorstep where I live, the Manor Hotel in Castle Combe. It's if you haven't been there, it's a really amazing property, you know, a bit of the countryside, the golf, it's ideal for me.
And it's on your doorstep.
As I said, it's 10 minutes from my house, so I could just move down the road nice and easy.
That's a really interesting way to answer that. You're like, if I could make any hotel a home, it'd be the one nearest to my home.
Yeah, you got to make life easy.
That's good. You're really committed to that area of living.
Oh yeah, I don't want to move the kids, you know, we'll just move to a luxury hotel down the road.
Got nothing to lose. Oh my, gonna shake it off. It ain't no thing, it ain't no thing. Oh my, doing what I want. Gonna do my thing, do my thing. Put it up high and take it low. I'm feeling right from head to toe. Light it up and let it roll. Here I go.
And the next part is about reimagining. Now, everyone in this industry, they plan some incredible trips for other people, but I want to reimagine your role and actually create an incentive trip for yourself. Where would you go? What would you do? And which celebrity would accompany you on that trip?
Oh, I think I often do similar to this in real life, actually, I'll be honest. You know, when I was doing new business and talking to clients, I always try and just sell the activities that I'd love to go on myself. And I think I was at an agency before and someone was like, well, if you want to work with sports clients, go and sell to sports, you know, and we have that influence to be able to change who we're working with. And in my mind, I was always like, for me, an incentive would be, I've never done the Dubai Sevens, which is meant to be amazing. Everyone tells me, you know, rugby fan, you've got to go to Dubai Sevens. So I would tag on the Dubai Sevens and then fly on to Australia. I've been fortunate, I was there for 3 days before. But never really done Australia. I've got a lot of friends there. So I'd go to Australia, a bit of the Great Barrier Reef, you know, ignore the timings, but if Formula One was on, something like that, you know, you can see the pattern here. A real sport heavy, bit of food, drink, and then link it to the theme. I would say, I don't know if you ever watched the series, but I would take Rob Beckett.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he'd be fun.
I watch him with Ramesh and all that series. I just like, he'd be hilarious. And then, again, if you follow him on Instagram, when it was the Euros on, he filmed himself going across to a game and absolute liability, but I think he'd be hilarious. And no harm with taking a comedian with you.
Oh, no, I think that's a great shout. And, you know, he's used to travelling anyway. He's a comedian. He's a bit of a lad. I can see you two having some...
Yeah, I think it'd be hilarious. just watch him. It'd be very entertaining.
Maybe that could be the new show. Instead of, you know, Rob and Ramesh, it could be Rob and Arran.
We'll sell it.
We need to pitch this, make this happen. You know, a sort of mice Netflix crossover or something, you know?
Why not? Let's give it a go.
The final part of the podcast is reform. So this is an opportunity for you to kind of get on your soapbox and talk about something that you're passionate about. What is your letter to the industry?
So for me, one of them is how can we continue to make things simpler? You know, we're always, I think one of the big learnings from the pandemic and talking to people is no one really knew what we did, how we do it, and then how do we simplify that to get more people into the industry is my thing. You know, we talk about inclusivity and we really need to keep pushing that, and we need new people to the industry. And for me, that all starts with simplification, you know. Are we clear in what we deliver and how we deliver it? You know, I was talking to people the other day that were interviewing for some of our junior roles, and they didn't really know what they were interviewing for. And I think the more that we become clearer and we communicate to people what we do, we'll get more people interested, you know. And it's the obvious, you know, someone wants to be a mechanic, you know what you're getting into. When you say, we spoke about earlier, get into the mice industry, no one knows what mice means. You know, do you want to come and do events? Do you have to, you know, and then within the industry, we have designers, we have videographers, we've got project managers. There's a whole range of skills that we just don't talk about. And I think we really need to simplify it and keep drumming up the message.
I think one of the problems is the industry looks at itself as such a bespoke niche, but the mice industry is so broad that actually it touches every sector, every industry. It's so vast, but we keep looking at it as this tiny little kind of niche that, oh yeah, people won't really understand it. But actually, when you really simplify it and just say it's events, it's just events that have something to do with business, you know. It could be a PR event. It could be for influencers. Like this, that's still B2B.
Yep.
It's just the influencers and a company coming together. And you can do all these amazing, exciting activations that are occurring, and yet people kind of just, they don't realise how big and how sexy our industry is.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we're still guilty of being very insular. You know, we're always looking at ourselves, where sometimes we need to look outside and say, right, actually, how do people see the industry? And there's some people, don't get me wrong, within the industry that do very well at driving more awareness, you know, but I think it's something we all have to continue pushing to get new people into the industry.
So the final part of the podcast is a very quick fire round. I'm just going to ask you A or B, and you have to say which you prefer. Super simple. No worries.
Sounds it.
Yeah, the nervousness. Packing, last minute or week before?
Last minute.
Carry on or check-in?
Carry on.
Airport lounge or shopping?
Airport lounge.
Aisle or window?
Aisle.
You sort of question about that?
Depends on the mood, right?
Yeah.
Short haul, long haul.
If you want to just collapse and sleep for a couple of hours, or if you want to, yeah. City or nature?
Nature.
Lay in or early start?
Early start.
You strike me as an early start type of person, get out and go type of.
Yeah, get on. Get it done.
Poolside or seaside?
Seaside.
Planned or spontaneous?
Planned.
Breakfast, hot or cold?
Cold.
Again, you were like, cold.
I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you'd be like a fry-up guy.
No.
You'd like granola and like a piece of fruit or something.
Bit of yogurt, yeah.
Too healthy for me. And finally, hotel, room service or restaurant?
Restaurant.
Nice. Okay, well, thank you so much for being part of the Flock Together community and joining me on this podcast.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.